Is life better in Spain or the US? I don't know, but what I do know is that in Spain, I can bring my kiddo to the bar with me if I want to. So there's that. It's funny, the longer I live outside the US, the more I've come to realize how much I have relaxed. And if you ever find yourself in Spain, you'll probably relax too, unless you're going to Ibiza in the summer. And that just sounds like torture to me. If you grew up in the US, odds are you were taught either directly or through experience that the night is something that winds down. Dinner's usually wrapped up by 8 or 9, the kids are in bed by 10 or 11, and if you're out after 10 p.m., well, it's probably you and the bar crowd. And if you're a parent in America, you likely know that unspoken rule. If your kid is out past 10 p.m. on a school night, people start wondering what's going on at home. The US, it really moves around early mornings and long commutes, work schedules that leave folks so drained by 6 p.m. that sometimes it's more appealing to microwave dinner than meet a friend for a nice chat. But in Spain, the night doesn't seem to wind down like that. It actually feels like it stretches out. Walk through a Spanish plaza at 10:30 p.m. and you won't just see bars open. You'll see entire families sitting at outdoor tables. They're passing around plates of tapas and enjoying pinchos. The kids are still wide awake. They're often playing soccer in the plaza under the street lamps. The grandparents are there too. They're usually nursing a glass of wine and swapping stories. In summer, parts of Spain are often too hot to really enjoy the outdoors until the sun goes down, so evening is actually when you really feel the day begin. And it's not just a once in a while thing. I think it's built into the culture. Dinner reservations are later, and nobody, absolutely nobody, will rush you to leave a table. So if you come from the US, where late usually means trouble or recklessness, you might need to reframe your thinking. In Spain, late night socializing is a sign of healthy, connected community. It's a culture that prioritizes conversation and connection. Well, there's that and the greater sense of safety. Back in Florida, there was nothing good happening in those streets after midnight. Being able to hang out late is kind of freeing. Now let's talk about alcohol sales hours. This is one of those details that can sneak up on you, especially if you're new to Spain. In the US, the rules for alcohol sale can be a little tricky, but they're usually based on a clear pattern. Bars serve till 1 or 2 a.m., sometimes earlier depending on the state. If you want to buy a six-pack or a bottle of wine, you head to the grocery store, the gas station, or the liquor store before the store's closing hours, whether that's 9 p.m. or 11 p.m. In some states, Sunday sales are restricted or they're just banned. They're called blue laws. They still linger in pockets across the country, especially in the South, and it's not unheard of to find yourself out of luck on a Sunday morning if you need wine so that you can make your Sunday dinner. Yes, that's even cooking wine. Far be it from me to want to give Osabuco a try and forget to bring home that bottle of Barolo. But in Spain, the split between bars and shops is sharp. You can sit in a bar until 3 or 4, sometimes even 6 a.m., drinking whatever you like. Well, as long as the bar is open and you're behaving yourself. There's no last call in the American sense, no sharp, abrupt drink up and get out moment. But if you want to buy a bottle at the supermarket, that's another story. In most parts of Spain, there's a clear cutoff. Stores can't sell alcohol after 10 p.m., not 10:01, not if you just need one more beer for the barbecue. 10 p.m. is the line. It kind of creates this interesting contrast. The bar is open and lively, the streets are brimming with people in conversation, but the supermarket shelves are locked up tight. And that's because Spain doesn't treat alcohol as a moral question the way the US sometimes does. Here, it's seen as a part of the meal. When you order the menu of the day, often the menu price includes wine or beer. The rules are designated to encourage drinking in a social setting. It's not made for you to grab a bottle and drown your sorrows in it all by yourself. Now, what really surprises a lot of people is this. The US is in the middle of what you might call a state by state experiment with it. In some places, it's fully legal for adults. In others, it's decriminalized. In some, it's still fully prohibited. It's called cannabis. You can be walking down the street in Colorado, perfectly legal to carry a joint in your pocket. Then you take a trip to Texas and face serious consequences for the same thing. But Spain has its own unique system. I don't use it myself, so I haven't done a deep dive into the laws, but cannabis is technically decriminalized for personal use, but only in private spaces. That means use is restricted to home or other private settings. If I'm honest, I wish it was the same in Florida. Last spring, I was there for a month wrapping up the final vestiges of my life in the US. Everywhere I drove, I passed a car or two that had the smell of herb wafting out. Don't get me wrong, I don't care if you smoke or not. I do care if you're driving while impaired. I smelled it almost everywhere I went. I don't know if it's unique to Florida, but I haven't had that experience here. From what I hear, here, if you step out with it in your pocket, you're breaking the law. No warnings. It's a civil offense and you'll likely get hit with a fine. The difference isn't in whether you own it, it's where you are when you carry or use it. It's a model that's designed to draw a hard line between private use and public consumption. It's proof that legality doesn't always have to be a simple yes or no. Sometimes it's about where and how. When you move to a new place, it's about understanding why people do what they do, then adjusting your expectations accordingly. In the US, the system around alcohol, nightlife, and cannabis is shaped by a long history. It's a history of prohibition, public health campaigns, and a culture that leans towards risk avoidance and public policy. Rules are often designated to prevent the worst case scenario. In Spain, the rules are often designed to integrate behavior into social life. Drinking happens at tables, not tailgates. Nightlife happens in plazas and bars, not in parking lots or solo apartments. Cannabis is tolerated in private, but discouraged from entering public space. You really see this with the children. The children here are allowed to experience and mature. When we moved here, I really had to take a step back from my daughter. I was very much overprotective. The harms that I was used to protecting her from weren't a concern anymore. It took a lot of practice, but I was finally able to give her the freedom that she needed to grow. The difference in approach shapes the way that people behave. It's not just what the laws say, but how people think about their freedoms and responsibility. It's really easy to assume that Spain is looser with rules or that America is stricter, but the truth is more nuanced. Spain isn't a free-for-all. The US isn't always so wound up, but systems have gaps and gray areas. Both have logic, both have limits. The real difference is cultural. In the US, freedom is often framed as individual autonomy. I can do what I want, when I want, as long as I'm not hurting anybody. In Spain, freedom leans more towards communal harmony. I can do what I want as long as I'm not disrupting the community. That mindset shift affects everything from how long you sit at a table to whether you carry an open beer on the sidewalk. Whether you're visiting Spain for a week or moving here for a long time, the most valuable thing you can pack isn't a translation app. Ask questions, watch what locals do, follow the flow of the people around you, and understand that the rules are there to help you fit in. Every country has its own way of drawing the line between personal freedom and public responsibility. Understanding those lines isn't just about following the law, it's about building a life that respects the place that you're in. And if you're doing that, you're doing just fine. That's how you grow, that's how you connect. And honestly, that's how you make the most of life. All right, YouTube wants you to watch this, and I'll see you soon. Bye.